Welcome to the first module of basic energy efficiency in building. I will move myself a little bit on the corner of the screen so that you can actually see the more important things like the presentation. So please let me just put myself in the corner there. Okay. So let's start. So you're welcome to the basic training of energy efficiency in buildings. This training is funded by the German government and is implemented by the GIZ. The project partner for this project is the Capital City Housing Corporation. The presentation will start with the question why energy efficiency in buildings is important, and also I will give you an introduction to the cross-sectoral approach, and we will end up on that unit on that topic with the international and national content of energy efficiency. So we will go into the law of Mongolia. So let's start with energy efficiency in building. Well, some of the slides which will show you gives you facts and figures and predictions. So mainly is really focusing on the unsustainable use of resources. Changes in consumption lead to higher energy demand as well as exploitation of water resources. And this is particular in the case that we are using fossil fuel for construction materials, for example, concrete. So concrete needs a high energy demand. So what is proposed is, and that I think is important, is the energy demand in the future in 2030 will be double in Asia and the Pacific region. And furthermore, 40% of developing Asia, Mongolia might expect severe water shortages. What I mean by that is due to the energy, due to global warming, we have more extreme weathers. Energy and water is interrelated, particularly in UB. Why is that? We have to see that as far as I know, our district heating is taking water from the ground. So we're using very important clean water, potable water for heating and for household consumption. So in a nutshell, the trend worldwide is that people move to urban cities for plenty of reasons, and particular for, if you see here on the left corner, in 2050, 70% of the world population will live in cities. So, however, for Mongolia, it reached already 72% now, above the prediction of 2050. So you're ahead of time in Mongolia and Ulaanbaatar. Now let's look at the cities and climate change issues. Cities using 2/3 of the world energy and contribute to 70% of CO2 emission. I think this is a figure which should be remembered. Probably I put myself a little bit out of that you can see this fully. Again, 2/3 of world energy consumption is done in the urban environment and cities, and 70% of global CO2 emissions comes from the city. I think this is the main thing which you can get out of that presentation, and you might remember that for later use. So for UB, coal remain the major fuel for heating and electricity. It's 96% of the electricity, heat and energy, based on coal. Yeah, that's what I want to say. An average of 1.1 million tons of coal each year for UB. That's quite a lot for heating and giving electricity to the city. Each of the 200,000 to 202,000 Ger families in the city main districts using 4 to 5 tons of raw coal every year, which leads to 80% of cities' air pollution. That's data from 2018. However, we have some changes, fortunately, in 2020 that we are using now a different kind of coal, which is more effective and more efficient than the old one. So climate change adoption does not concern too much the UB in financial terms, except for flood protection due to predicted more heavy rain. But as I know, the Mongolians are very resistant people. So let's move on to the next slide. So this slide is gives you an overview that's actually from the Ministry of Energy. It gives you an overview of where the electricity in Ulaanbaatar is used. So it's only showing the electricity. So industry and construction are 74%. So I think we should think about that one. And household and communal housing, 18%. So together it's 65% is electricity use. So industry is not too much our field of work. However, construction is, and household consumption too. So maybe another source which is actually focusing on the energy consumption for households. So there is a source which says that approximately 40% of energy consumption in Ulaanbaatar is based on is done or consumed in the household, in the residential building. So that maybe gives you more a clear figure why we're actually focusing on energy efficiency. So we can solve problems with the same level of thinking that created them. No, that's not true. We cannot solve problems with the same level of thinking that created them. So that's Albert Einstein. And what he wants to say, if we have a problem, maybe using a different approach. So the next slides will maybe give you some idea what I mean by that. So like you see on the left side, people are just thinking, they're thinking, I'm the best one, but they're not communicating. So the bubbles are just indicating that they are thinking, but not really doing something together. That a drawing here shows I know it's not so clear to see. That's why I have to talk a bit about that. These are silos. So in this silos, somebody is asking to do some work, and one is saying, try me, the other one saying, that's not my responsibility, and the other one is saying, it's not in my budget. So you see there is no real help or coordination or communication in that field. It's get even worse if we consider like that. You have an idea, you want to help people, and they're too busy to go ahead on their business, even if there are easier tasks. So there's another brain who already went through the process and want to bring his input there. And that, I think that is the worst one. If you think, we're all in the same boat, particularly in a project like we are, so we have to help each other. It's sure that glad the hole is on the other end of the boat does not help these two guys there. So this is quite common, not thinking out of their silos and workplace. So what I mean with silos, these are workplaces, offices, departments. So that's what I want to put a little bit of focus now on. So I move myself a little bit up here. So normally governmental departments, or when I was working for the schools, governmental schools, the same, they have a traditional sectoral thinking. So they are thinking in their silos, every department doing his own thing. There are trade-offs. So Trade-off can be seen as a balance achieved between two desirable but incompatible features, which I would say also a compromise. So a compromise is not always the best solution, because it doesn't get from everyone the best out. Um, so for example, a compromise could be a divided responsibility that often results in poorly coordinated investments, increasing cost, and underutilized infrastructure and facilities. So that's actually the main focus on the silo system, why it is not the way forward. However, and that's a nice thing, you cannot break down the silo, but you can connect them. So this tube on the top of the silos, which is indicated here, is actually connecting the silos together. This is actually teamwork. This is cross-sectoral approach. So you're talking much more intensive with the other departments, with the other office, and you get your brains together and getting more out of it as only one department can do. So again, we think of ourselves as individuals, but all that we have accomplished and all that we will accomplish is the result of groups of humans cooperating. I fully agree on that, and I want to put a little bit more focus on that. Is for me, cross-sectoral approach should be a common way to solve problems or design project. We will do that in the training here too. As well, we will have group work, which will combine different trades, departments, and we hope that we getting actually more out of the more out than 100%, because if more brains are working on a problem, we get actually more benefit out of it. Okay, so that's so much to the sectoral approach. We will move now to the international and national relations. So we will start with the common definition of sustainable development. So